Hello, this is RICKY, the Android guy. Hey guys, today bringing another side-by-side camera comparison, this time between the Galaxy Note 4 and the Galaxy Note 5. Now, between these two, we're going to do a camera comparison that really compares all the four main parts of your photo taking experience. For all of these photos, they are going to be taken at their normal automatic settings out of the box. We did not change anything in order to make it a fair comparison. Now, with the first one here, the Lowlight, it was actually a funny thing that happened. The Note 5 has more auto taking features, so I did have it on auto HDR, and it did use it on here, whereas this one I left HDR off. So what happened was that the Note 5, because it thought it needed auto HDR, it kind of got overexposed between the two. So I would say the Note 4, for your overall view of the shot, looks better. When we zoom in, though, we do see that the Note 4 will be a little bit less lacking in terms of the details in between it. Just everything kind of doesn't look as sharp as it should. With that same look upon the Note 5, the details do look a little bit better again, and just things like the cabling, the number is a little bit easier to see, I would say, on here as well. But overall, just the overall experience in detail looks better here. But the overall shot, I would give it to the Note 4, just because in terms of its automatic settings out of the box, it actually did a sharper low light because it didn't use HDR, whereas when you did, you got this lens flare. Now, following the next shot, this one is based on details. Now, I focused right here for both of these cameras, so let's see what they came up with. On the Note 4, we can see that we have very clear text, which is nice, and you can see the PS4 and the PS3 are pretty clear. Obviously, this is probably the hardest part to always get in focus because it generally focuses on the main section, and this is pretty lined up nicely as well. We don't have the exact textures over here that we're used to, which the Note has picked up before in the past, but not this time around. Now, when we go back over here and see that same kind of detail, again, the text is very clear here. On here, we do get the texture on the rubber part for the Wiimotes a lot more clearly right here, especially on the black. And again, the text is just very clear from this angle, and a little bit harder to make out again on this side, and clearer on the white. Overall, it just seems that the Note 5 got more consistent quality compared to the Note 4. It was just a little bit more consistent in comparison to the detail portion upon not only taking this shot, but other shots. But again, we see it here as well, just with the black rubber part around the Wiimotes, it just wasn't as clear. Also, in terms of brightening, the Note 5 did a better job brightening the photo, whereas the Note 4 was a bit on the darker side. Now, in terms of the color reproduction, we kind of got a mix actually here. So I'm not sure if it was really just this shot with the Note 5, but this one definitely did not have the depth that the box typically has, which the Note 4 did. However, that was the main part that the Note 4 did better. Everything else was a little bit better on the Note 5. For instance, skin tone definitely came out better on here as opposed to the Note 4. It just more natural looking instead of just like a darkening halfway kind of. It just was an odd thing that the Note 4 did with that. Also, not to mention the depth of color in right here. This is a very hard thing for a camera to do, but the Note 5 easily did it, so you can get a lot more depth than you can on the Note 4. So really good for that purpose. And then even in the shadows, you can see just a sharper field on the Note 5. Again, this is because it did brighten the shot better, and that is attributed to the auto HDR. So you're able to just get more consistently brighter overall photos and more sharp contrast between the different kind of lighting features. Finally, even in the light switch, I noticed that, again, just a more overall pronounced photo right here for this section compared to here, just a bit more dull looking. So yeah, overall, in terms of color reproduction, the Note 5 does best the Note 4. not only for just the color accuracy and depth, but definitely even for things like shadow and light. It does a much better job for the most part, although the Note 4 did take this one for sure. And then finally, we go to the selfie comparison. Selfies are very important to everyone, and it's really big on these two products. The Note 4 has a 3.7 megapixel, and the Note 5 has a 5 megapixel. However, it is amazing to see just how far it's come in just 1 year. And the Note 4 was the best selfie camera of last year, in my opinion. It just did very well with this shot. This time around, it didn't do as good, but we have seen it come out better than this. So I do want to preface that. As we know, this is the hardest shot for a camera to do, as it's the under overexposure test. See if it underexposes here and gets a lot of graininess, and see if it overexposes here so you can't see the bars as well. So on these two comparisons, you can just see that the Note 5 just easily does everything perfectly here. It just flattens it out so that you don't have as much noise on here, and it just looks much better for that purpose. It smooths out everything up here, and just so it's a lot more accurate in terms of how it is. Now, the lighting did affect it more truly to how the light is, whereas here it went more white. Over here, it went actually the color of the light, which is more of a yellowish color. So it's more true to what we were seeing with the color as well. Overall, in terms of just how it looks, I would easily say that the Note 5 is going to be easily the best for selfies between the two. So when we went to low light, the Note 4 actually did do better than the Note 5 because of the Note 5's Auto HDR. Again, I'd like to show these out of the box how they are. For the detail comparison, the Note 5 just does a more consistent job, although the Note 4 has never been a slouch when it comes to details. In the color reproduction, though, you have to give it to the Note 5. It just definitely did a better overall color reproduction and just a better depth of color and truer skin tone. And finally, we have the selfie comparison, which just easily the Note 5 wins it. So yes, overall, the Galaxy Note 5 does have the better camera to the Galaxy Note 4. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you did like it, please give a like, thumbs up down below. This has been RICKY, the Android Guy.